Yeah.
Cool. We're live. Welcome back to the wood panel.
He got Ben Ship.
What's up, boys?
The one and only Ben
Yeah.
Ship
Yeah.
from the famous Ship family of Dry Ridge,
Yeah,
Kentucky.
Grant County.
Yes.
Good to be here, boys.
Yep. Thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by. So I grew up with you. Let's see. We went to middle school together. That's when I started coming to Grant. And we played sports together.
Yep. Little League Baseball and just kind of farted around.
Yep. I was ass at sports, and Ben always let me know that.
Yeah. I had a tendency of doing that. I mean, but then once you start to see a big fish, like in another place, not in Grant County, it's like, oh, well, I'm not very good either.
Yeah, that was a realization for me. One time I was trying out for the Legends baseball team, and Hunter Epperson was on there. And Hunter, he was like, "Why are you here?" I was like, "Trying out for the team." He's like, "You'd never make this team." I was like, "Dude, this is stupid."
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing you can't knock us for is that we're sometimes pretty honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes blunt to a
Yeah, that's for sure,
That is so
to
true.
a fault, but
dude. So my favorite Ben story is we were at Wildwood Inn for
oh yeah,
for
Oh, man.
somebody's birthday. Was it Joe Stewart's birthday?
Yeah, I'm gonna crawl behind this TV while you're saying this one.
I honestly can't remember like what happened, but somehow it ended up like me and you were fighting
Yeah,
and we were hitting each other, and then somehow like you had grown up more with Jonathan Robbins, so Jonathan like comes up behind me and basically like suplexes me like into a bed frame or
yeah.
something.
I don't have a super good recollection of.
I don't either. It was just
all of
like
it. It
young
was just
kid
like
crap.
yeah, it was just.
But
Middle school nonsense.
Somehow your dad showed up and he was like very like official looking. I was like, oh shit, like we're cooked.
We're cooked.
Whenever the dad shows up in the suit, especially back in the day,
Oh,
it,
yeah.
it carried a little bit of weight with it. But
Yeah.
nah, he was fine. I think he gave me a good word or two on the way home.
Yeah.
I did not. I don't think I stayed the night for the birthday party.
No, I think you actually you had to end up leaving.
Yeah, I ended up leaving. I got in trouble. But we're friends now.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah, we are friends now.
We can sit next to each other.
Yep.
We
We
cut my hair.
dude, I cut your hair.
That is
We
true.
just did a video job together. So both of us actually own media companies
Yep.
where we create
Yes.
videos and photos and different types of medias like that. And me and Ben, we shotgunned. We just kind of showed up, and he gave me like a rough parameters, like, "Hey man, this is what we're doing." And I was like, "All right, I'll be there." And
Knocked it out.
Yeah, tried to. I mean, the thing is that I think like you said, we both own small production companies. So I think we're in the stage now where we're trying to add certain things in our portfolio to be able to
yeah,
get like
To cover
corporate-
all.
Yeah, to be able to
parameters
number
of-
one, like figure out what you're good at, but number two, add it to your portfolio. Add
Yeah,
something else.
Kind
to
of get better at what you're not
yeah,
good
new
at.
trick of the trade.
Mhm.
So, we went in, we shot some like skits for a corporate video, and I think that with what we were given, we did like a
for
really
sure,
good job,
for sure.
so-
And what do you like right now? What is yours driven towards? What are your favorite things that you're doing with media?
In general, I mean, right now where I'm at, I do a lot of like property development, like
Yeah,
video, photo,
Okay.
stuff like that. I do a lot of travel stuff. I'm actually selling prints on my website, btsmedia.com.
Let's go.
We'll fla-
Let's
we'll-
go. Let's go.
we'll flash it up for you guys.
Shameless plug.
We
Um,
have, dude, we got 126 subs right now, so your website might crash tonight.
It might,
Literally.
It might. But travel photography, the next step for me is I'm actually moving to Germany in September.
Dude, that's sick.
That's legit.
I am dating a girl from Germany, and that's kind of the next step for us.
Yeah,
And I'd like to keep the content creation gig going over there, whether it's like my own stuff or working with her, or
Yeah.
I do have a degree in journalism, so to tide or supplement that, I can hopefully find a gig over there.
Yeah.
Now,
I
will you be? You won't be traveling back here and doing gigs, will you? I would imagine not, right?
No, I mean if the money is good enough.
Gotcha. That makes sense. No, that makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes sense.
But
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, my production company's small enough to where if someone wants to do that, they can just find
Another one.
another one
Gotcha.
somewhere around here.
Gotcha.
Like
But
me.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, but I think one of my big interests is history. I've always been interested in history and specifically European history. So I'm gonna be in hog heaven whenever
Yeah.
I'm over there, and
For sure.
especially in Germany, everything's so central that regional flight here
Yeah.
is $150 or whatever it is to Florida.
Right.
In central Germany, you can fly to France or the Baltic or the Balkans or Italy
Yeah. And
just
it's
for the same price. It's
yeah,
so-
or hop
That's
on a
pretty cool.
train.
or hop exactly.
Yeah.
So
So basically, the way that I think that we should structure it is kind of have some like big key points, and we'll just both, we'll all just talk about what it means to us and stuff like that. So you start off with how you got started in photography, what your passion in photography is, and everything about photography.
yeah. So I love photography, but I kind of wear both hats. I video and
Yeah.
photo.
Same.
So I try whenever I talk to whether it's clients or just people that I'm bullshitting with, I try to like say I'm not just
Try not to limit yourself.
yeah, but I also try not to say like I'm a content creator because
Gotcha.
I don't have like some huge following, even
Mhm.
though I like work with creators that do have bigger followings.
Got you.
But the thing for me is I actually kind of stumbled into photography. I think you guys growing up in the same place that I grew up, I don't think the arts necessarily are pushed.
No,
I don't think they're pushed. But like in a lot of ways, and I think a lot of the guys that we grew up with are creative in a lot of ways. Like
Yes.
a lot of the guys that are in machine shop, they can make awesome things with their hands. That's an art form.
That's an
Yeah.
art form. Yes.
So I went to college and I tried to get a degree in engineering. Quickly found out that wasn't gonna
That
happen.
wasn't
Dude, I remember you and Carrie. So like all the boys had were trying to get engineering degrees, and I would just like see Ben, and he'd be like freaking stressed all the time. I'm like, Ben, what's up, man? He's like, chemistry, dude.
Oh,
Like,
dude,
chemistry.
organic chemistry. Oh my god, I still have nightmares about it. But I changed from that into journalism, and with the intent of doing more print, go work like the traditional publication gig, standard journalism job. And while I was in school, I started farting around with cameras and everything, and graduated, had a short stint at Disney, tried to work at a few publications, and just realized it wasn't really my thing.
Yeah.
Don't go too far into Disney. That's one of the questions I got.
Yeah,
So
I
go
got you.
ahead though.
I got you. But number one, the money wasn't. If I'm being honest, the money just isn't there in the trade in the industry anymore.
Yeah.
And
I want to say that's almost everywhere. I hate that it's that way. But
Yeah, money does seem
money,
down.
I
in
mean, it's
everything.
yeah,
just-
I mean, a lot of things with journalism now is like there is a social stigma around it,
Mhm.
whether people can believe what they want, and it's right, like it's rightful to have cast that judgment.
for sure.
But I mean, it's undeniable that like the press in America was like this big titan for such a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and whenever newspapers died and they started relying on clicks on the internet and ad sponsorship,
Yeah.
it just kind of caused the industry to roll over and have to come up with a new identity.
Well, yeah, and with technology and AI and things like that, stuff's moving so fast that it's hard to keep up with. And like you said, it's kind of a dying breed where it was a long cast of like an hour news, and now it's like these short little TikTok videos is how people are getting different kinds of media. So learning to adapt and see things like that seem important.
Yeah, and I think while the industry had to adapt, I think it kind of sent everyone that is like trying to get into the field or is
Yeah.
at a lower level in the career field, it kind of made them adapt because those jobs aren't there anymore.
Bro,
Right.
it's so crazy to even bring that up because like I ain't read a newspaper in for forever. You know what I mean? If I ever have.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know
But
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
also like Cincinnati used to have a bunch of newspapers. Now
Yeah.
really all we have is the Enquirer, and not knocking the Enquirer. I
Mhm.
mean, they're still standing. And City Beat, like
Yeah.
it's not really a traditional
Yeah.
newspaper though, but
Right.
it used to be like a established industry, and with that is more jobs. And whenever I would tell people that like I have a degree in journalism or I'm studying journalism, they're like, "You're not gonna get a job,
Yeah.
dude." I'm
Yeah.
like, well, like I don't know. I'll fall into something.
Yeah, like I was saying, like I ain't read a newspaper in forever, and I haven't watched the news on TV in forever, but I know what is going on in the world, and it's just because of all these social medias. It takes away from journalism.
Well, yeah, to a certain extent, but at the same time, it makes everyone become a grassroots journalist. So, like,
Yeah.
that's what everyone's kind of realized. Like, what I've realized is that you can just grab a camera and grab a mic, and you can go make content, and
Any way you want, you know.
and you can watch, you know, YouTube videos for a couple weeks and figure out how to edit pretty damn well.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not saying like it definitely takes some credentials to be able to get to places and stuff like that.
But you
But
do see people just blow up as like freelance journalists in whatever way you want to call that, content creators or whatever. And then all of a sudden they have wildly influenced people on their or like interviewing them and just, becoming the news that people listen to just by, like you said, getting a few YouTube tutorials, making a short video, and then all of a sudden they're the people listen to.
yeah,
Look at Joe
exactly.
Rogan.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's like Joe Rogan was Fear Factor guy, went to the UFC as a commentator, and then got 100 million just because he started a podcast like
And the
Joe
most
Rogan
astounding
experience, yeah.
fact of that whole thing, whether you agree, whether you like Joe Rogan or not, it's him and like 3 other people.
Yeah.
That's them.
It's them.
Made $100 million
Yeah,
company.
yeah, like,
That's
it's insane.
crazy.
But what I was getting at is that whenever I kind of looking at other options other than the traditional journalism route, like at publications or
Yeah.
TV stations, I started to realize that my degree was a little bit more marketable, and I can use it in a lot more ways than a lot of people realize. I can use it in marketing. I can use it in public relations. I can use it in production. Like
Yeah.
I'm using it right now. I can use it in copywriting.
So it's not just one thing.
It's not just one thing. It's how you market yourself later on and how you hone it. You don't just get out of high school or college and stop learning things.
Yeah,
Right.
true.
And the vast majority of what I've learned about cameras is out of school. I
Yeah.
don't have the broadcast cameras that they had us working on
Yeah.
in college. I don't have those funds. If I went and worked for a news station,
Yeah. So for me, like my passion for photography, I feel like it was always there. I always had like an eye for the aesthetic, and I was like, I wish I could make that. You know what I mean? And then I bought like a terrible camera, worse than iPhone cameras, and I was like, dude, I'm never gonna be able to do anything with this because I can't even fucking take a picture. But once I started barbering, I just like took the leap and I bought a camera. And then I just started making friends with people that, like, one of my friends, Noah, he does wedding videos. And I was like, well, I mean, you look pretty normal. I feel like I could learn how to do a wedding video. Can I come and just help you? And so then I built like a wedding video business, which is probably the largest part of my business right now. And then just, learning family photos and learning apertures and how different what will be in focus and, wider ranges and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like, really, there's no job that I couldn't take right now and be able to accomplish. So I have a passion for it, but it's also a thing like it's a hit the ground running thing. It's hard to get jobs.
it is hard to get jobs, and like especially whenever you're competing with people in an industry that, and I want as many people to compete against me
Right.
as possible. Like,
Yeah.
because that can give me the opportunity to say this is how good my work is. Like,
For
Yeah.
sure.
but I know that there might be someone else that's going to put their work and it's exponentially better than mine, but they're probably going to cost exponentially more than
Mhm.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it
It
just
does
what
give
you
a
put- get
value
into
to
it.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
And,
It's nice to have a little bit of competitiveness.
Yeah, but I mean, I think with my passion, I did want to say this without getting too much into Disney. after college, went to I went to Disney to work, and I tried to make that what it was,
Mhm.
and it didn't really work out. And I kind of just made the decision to bet on myself and go out and get the camera,
Yeah.
go out and get some mics, go out get some lights, and
Just swung
just
for the
see what I
fences,
can do.
basically. Yeah.
Like, and right now it's worked out. We'll see if it keeps on working out.
Yeah.
Let's hope, right?
Yeah.
Let's hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, a lot of the stuff you do just really shocks me. I'm like, you know, it'll be the setup and I'll see like, and that motivates me because I'm like, you had very little to work with on a lot of stuff that I've seen you do, and like all the conditions weren't perfect, but then like I see the edit, and maybe that's where the skill is the edit.
Well, I
But
mean,
it's great.
that like you guys will, and at a certain level, I kind of am a pessimist and a
Yeah.
perfectionist. So like I'll pixel peep everything that I see, any end product that I see. I always will want to be like, I can do that better. I can do this better. So, and I think that's what kind of makes me want to do as good as I can, even if I'm given a task to do with
Yeah.
parameters that I otherwise might not want myself to be in.
Yeah, I was about to ask a question, but basically you just answered it. What sets you apart from, a lot of the other videos and all these other wedding video businesses that they do? Obviously, he
Yeah.
basically just answered his.
Yeah. And then mine would be the same thing. I have a passion for trying to set a standard, you know, and giving my all in things. But the difference is you're getting me. And that's what I think what we're saying about all of our, you know, everything that has to do with our media companies is you're getting us, and you're getting people that are highly motivated to set themselves apart. And, you know, the way that I do set myself apart is showing up, being just full force, trying to find different perspectives to an age-old dog, and, you know, trying to be different. And I think my videos show that. It would have to be a thing where you look at, but looking at videos from different points of view and things like that, I think is what sets me
Yeah,
apart.
and I just want to say this about every time that I've worked with Logan, and it is like this with most people that I've worked with, but the thing that like I think that he is even better than me at is that he's much more approachable on set. There is a thing with
Yeah.
photographers, videographers,
Yeah.
where it can sometimes get like a little bit like, you know, I just want things a certain way.
Yeah.
If I'm stressed, I'm
Yeah.
stressed. So I can definitely improve on that. But at the end of the day, where I'm coming from, the reason why I am stressed is because I want it to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you never think Logan's very approachable with all those tattoos he's got. You know,
I know, right?
You'd be like, just do what he says. You know what I
Even
mean?
if I'm nervous or anything, I'm just like, hey, I try to just be like, man, we're gonna figure this out. Don't worry about like whatever, because I mean, I just feel like that adds to the stress of it.
For sure.
And I think that goes a long way, especially in our industry, like you said, just being able to multitask and have like, you know, a cohesion and being calm and just here we go.
Yeah,
Let's
just
figure it
I
out.
feel like
exactly.
Yeah.
just like you guys, I think it's huge that people are reaching out to you guys and hiring your business, but it's not like you all are just sending random people out there. It's you guys
Yeah.
showing up. That's
Yeah.
what makes it
Yeah.
really huge as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to get to a
Yeah,
point
I'd like
where-
to get to a point
where
where
we
I just
sit.
know how to edit it, and I trust
it's just-
them, but
For sure, but it is really nice to know that for the people that's booking you guys, that they're talking to the person that's going to do it. So
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah, and
I
that
mean,
is-
for me. I don't ever want to get from behind the camera. Like,
sure.
At some point, I do want to make my magnum opus, like my masterwork. Like,
Yeah.
I want to make a documentary film one day. I don't know what it's going to
That'd
be
be
about
sick,
yet,
yeah.
but that's my end goal. I would like to do that.
That's how I feel. Like I have like, and this is how photography and videography started for me, and it'll probably never change. But I always have like the feeling that I want to evoke and the thing that I want people to see. But I'm like, how am I going to get there, and what am I going to do to put that out there in a way that doesn't seem cringe to me, feels authentic,
Yeah.
and like, you know, I just want me to be conveyed through something.
Well, yeah. Well, that's probably my biggest reservation is that I don't want to put something out there that like people take it for something that I wasn't meaning to be. Like,
Yeah.
it's, like it's
Definitely.
not good, or it's
Interpret it in the wrong way.
Yeah, it's interpreted in the wrong way. So, I think that's what that's a reservation that a lot of creatives have. And
Yeah.
then by the time they blink their eyes, they're 50 and they've never
Yeah.
created anything. I
Yeah.
want to make sure I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
But
Just throwing stuff out there is, and that's why we made this podcast. Like, just throwing it out there and seeing what it does is so important, and people lose sight of that. It's like, I need this to be perfect. I need this to be perfect. It's like, dude, just
do
get
it.
out there what you have and what your ability to do. And like you said, you'll be able to go through and be like, I don't like this. I don't like this. So like, let me figure out why these two things and how to fix them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've done a few weddings. I thought I did pretty good at them.
Mhm.
I also realized that weddings, at least solo weddings, aren't necessarily my thing.
Dude,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I get that.
Which is cool.
And like, I love doing them, but it was just very stressful. And
sure.
It was a lot of editing. And
You got to deal with, the groomsmen trying to get ready. You got to deal with all
oh no,
the-
that was the easy part.
Really?
Yeah.
It was the things going like I gotta edit this and
Oh,
like,
it's it.
and,
Okay.
like, like if you're the one that all of it falls on, the
Definitely.
editing, the shooting, all this stuff, it's just like one burden on top of another burden on top of another burden.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I had a sound guy and
Yeah.
the sound sounds like shit, I can just be like,
That's him.
sound guy, bro.
Dude, that's the thing with all of it. It's like,
If
so
something's
as a
wrong-
second shooter, you're just like, oh, I'm just getting whatever I can. And like as a primary, you're like, bro, what'd you get? Because like, dude, I need it's raining, so we can't go outside. So we've got to find ways to like make unique shots. It's just like you have to be able to like move on the go and come up with ideas and try to fix things fast.
Yeah, and it's not brain surgery.
Yeah.
But like I said, like
But
I want it to be good.
yeah,
I
for
care.
sure. Well, yeah, for sure. And with anyone doing videography or photography, that stuff's not cheap. And
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
not cheap. So at the same time, being you guys and all the stuff falling it on your shoulders, you got to
Yeah.
make sure that you get exactly what.
Yeah,
They're
we
paying
we
for.
owe it to them to try to
Exact-
give them the best product we can.
Exactly. Yeah.
You
that's
know,
what I'm
and
saying.
they see our portfolio, so it's always going to be the same, level of work as it goes up, stuff like that. But
Mhm.
yeah, I find it important to give value. But people also don't understand like how much money and time that we've put into either equipment or learning or softwares, and it's like that stuff isn't free. So when people are like, "Well, how much is this?" and you tell them, and they're like, "Oh my gosh," and I'm like, dude, just the one camera I'm bringing is $5,000.
Yeah.
That's before I even do anything.
I know. Yeah, I mean, you saw my
Yeah.
rigs.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why I rigged my cameras up is to make it, and it's superficial as fuck. Like, don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, but like there is a certain amount of it. The bigger your camera is, the more legit your
Yeah.
clients will think you are. And
Yeah.
does all that stuff make the end quality better? Yes, but does it make that big of a difference whenever I come in with like an FX30 or an FX3 and it's not rigged out? No,
No.
it doesn't. Nobody's gonna know what we're talking about.
Right.
when
But
I
it does
come
make
in.
people like their eyes get big and they're like, oh, he's got a whole rig. And I'm like, if I show up with just like this one little camera and I'm just like, it's like, man, is this guy even getting anything?
Yeah.
Because you're just used to seeing big cameras and stuff like that. It
For
makes
sure.
it feel
I
more
ain't gonna
official.
lie to you guys. I feel like a big ass loser sitting over here, y'all talking. I don't even know what y'all talking about. I'm here and I get to ask you guys questions because I'm the outsider looking in, but it's like
Nah, dude, what are you doing right now?
I'm just sitting. I just don't know
You're
shit
making
about
stuff.
cameras. Like my art, me being like an artist it's just through Logan. You know what I mean? I'm here. I'm on the podcast, but Logan's doing all the work.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
You know what you are right now?
What?
You are a producer.
Yes,
Yeah.
there we go. Yeah, I'm just producing, man.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
here.
you're just producing comedy.
Yes, yeah, bro. It's just.
Sometimes you're not funny, and then you're.
But that shit is
producing
cool though. I
nothing.
think.
Now we just gotta show you the ropes on like what do you guys edit on DaVinci?
Yeah,
Yeah, we just gotta teach them DaVinci. And
dude,
do
I
all
would
the editing.
I would love to make a video
Listen,
of
this-
of Buckwheat trying to edit on DaVinci because
I
he
asked-
literally would just be like, "Oh shit."
I text Logan because I know that there's a lot to go with this entire whole podcast. Like it, and people might just think, hey, when we show up here for an hour or hour and a half and we just shoot and it's over and we just post it. That's not what happens.
No.
It's not what happens.
No, not at all.
But it is for me.
Yeah,
It is for me. So
Yeah.
and I texted Logan the other day and I was like, hey, bro, if there's anything else you need me to do more, just holler at me. I said, holler at me. He said, yeah, that's not
I
realistic.
will say that
That's what he told me. He said, that's not realistic. I'm like, I'm a dumbass.
If it actually does ever get to a point where you guys start to build an audience and you guys like want to start to like get more content out on like a more consistent schedule,
Yeah,
like as many hands on deck as possible.
definitely.
Because I work with a few channels that have like a lot of followers,
Mhm.
a lot of followers.
Yeah.
And it is every day. like it is day in, day
It's
out.
a full-time job.
It's a full-time job. In a lot
Yeah.
of ways, it's not like, hard on your back or
Yeah.
anything like that. The hardest it's on your back is sitting in a damn
Yeah,
chair all
it's
day.
Yeah.
for
probably hard on
10
your mind
hours.
and just tedious.
Yeah, but it is a full-time job once you get to a certain level. And I have seen multiple people where if you do treat it that way, it does pay off.
Yeah.
So,
And that's why I tried to tell him, because he was like, yeah, if I can help you. I was like, you can't help me. You know, like, not in the most
I was just trying to help,
respectful
too.
way I could tell you can't help me, because like there's just so many steps that go to this. It's like culling the footage and then creating like an idea that you want to push, and then making sure that has cohesion, and then going through and cutting out stuff that you don't want to put out there, and then coloring it. It's all like all this stuff that goes into it, and you have to have a background, or you have to have some knowledge. And
Like,
you,
I really
and you
thought
would
I
have
was
to be,
like helping out. I was
you'd
like,
have to be passionate about wanting to learn it yourself to
For
be able
sure.
to do that, and that's not where your passion
Yeah.
is, and it's just not going to
I
happen.
mean, if you put me on a barber chair, bro, that person's leaving
true.
with a buzz cut and a few cuts with a razor blade. Like,
that's so true. Yeah,
lost,
I thought I was
so.
just trying to be nice, and I obviously have no idea how to do any of this, but I was like, hey, bro,
I mean,
if there's anything you need, he's like, yeah, it's just not realistic. I'm like, cool, you're right.
it's another skill though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So let's transition into something that we both do as well, travel. So tell me what started you on like, okay, I want to travel, and then where you went and what you did.
So I've always been I've always wanted to travel
Same,
since I was
yeah.
a kid. I was kind of born with that privilege that my parents always kind of talked kind of glowingly about other
Yeah.
cultures and like going to see other places and all that stuff. And I didn't get out for a long time.
Yeah.
Went to college, and in college I had a traveling sales job. that
Yeah.
I would get in a truck on Friday, drive like 9 hours to like Wisconsin or like Boston, and sell stuff, and then get back in on Sunday and go back to school. And I got to see a lot of the country that way, but never been out of the country before.
Yeah.
And then I met my girlfriend from Germany. Her name's Feely.
how did you all meet?
Hinge. of all things,
Let's
yeah.
go.
Yeah, I know. No, like meet up or anything
Yeah.
like that. I just, of all things, slid in with like a little German hello.
Dude, you
Yeah.
are smooth.
I
You're
know, I
him,
know.
bro. You're him. It's okay. You're him.
And yeah, here we are, like coming on 4 years later, and about ready to move.
That's awesome, dude.
So
Across the
so
Atlantic.
Feely from Germany is moving back to Germany.
Yeah, yeah.
She I think either she told me or you told me, but basically you were like, as soon as you met her, you're like, hey, I know that you live here, but would you ever want to move back to Germany? And she's like, I'd like to experience America. This is the reason I moved here. And then you're like so adamant about wanting to move
Yeah,
to
I was
Germany.
like, we can go to Germany like whenever you want. I kind of want to live over there, but it was pretty quick. After we met each other, we like 6 months in, I went over to Germany for the first time. Didn't know a lick of German.
Yeah.
Still don't know very much. It's a
Mhm.
very, very hard language to learn.
Does she make fun of you?
No, she's very understanding
Mm.
with that. She actually taught language.
Oh,
here.
nice.
That's part of the reason why she's here.
Yeah.
She won the green card lottery. I don't want to get too much into like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
weeds on that, but
Yeah.
she won the green card lottery, and I always make the joke that she's not using me for a green card.
Nice.
And now she's a citizen. Woohoo! Double
That's awesome,
citizen.
dude. Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
That is.
I didn't even know there was a green card lottery.
Yeah. It's,
That's
they just kind of
crazy, for real.
Yeah, and she was here on a master's program before that, teaching German at the University of Cincinnati.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And so whenever I do have questions about German, she's pretty
Yeah.
understanding.
Do you want to mention what she does?
Yeah, she's a YouTuber. She runs the channel called Feely from Germany.
Nice.
I edit on her channel. That's one of the channels that I'm speaking of.
Nice.
Let's go.
Whenever you were talking about projects, I
Yeah.
do want to say like some of the projects I'm most proud of have come via my girlfriend Feely.
Yeah.
She's given me the creative outlet and freedom that I don't think I would have, and I don't want to take for granted.
Yeah.
Like we made a thing where we went down to Shepherd Air Force Base in Texas with the Egypt program. It's
Yeah.
ENJPPT, I believe. Could be getting that.
Egypt.
Egypt. It's
Okay.
a Air Force program
Okay.
with a bunch of NATO members and all those countries, and they send all of their pilots to Shepherd Air Force Base, and they all train together, so that in the future, if they ever get onto a battlefield, no matter where it is in the world, they all know the same lingo, they all know the exact formations, and they'll be able to communicate.
That's sick.
That's huge. Yeah, that's
And
cool.
we got to go down there and make a video on that. And
That's huge.
And you know me, I'm a big history
Yeah,
guy. Like,
exactly.
How did you get into
you
that?
put a jet in front of my face. Like, I'm gonna like just sit there and be like, oh my.
Yeah.
And with the camera, dude. You'll get a kick out of this. I was trying to shoot a jet with a gimbal.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm like, no, it was tough, but we've done things like that together. But no, I just wanted to say that she has given me the creative outlet.
Yeah, that's sick. So you guys traveled to Germany. Was that your first time abroad?
That was my first time abroad, and I think the first time we spent about like 10 days. She's from Munich, and Munich is mind-bogglingly
Yeah.
pretty. It is a
Yeah.
beautiful city. Her family's absolutely fantastic. They
Yeah.
greeted me with open arms, welcomed me with open arms, and we'll be walking down the street. Like, I'll never forget this. We get up from the U-Bahn, like the subway,
Mhm.
and in like the main street there in Munich, and we like walk out. It's my first time on a European like street,
Yeah.
and we get up the stairs. I just stop,
Yeah.
just like,
Wow.
what
Mind
the hell
blown.
is this? And she just keeps on walking,
Yeah.
like, going, and it was like kind of like a full circle moment for me, like, some kid from Dry
Grant.
Ridge,
Yeah.
in Munich.
Dude. So for
That's-
me,
That's so cool.
that's the realization I had. So my first place I went was Rome, and dude,
Oh, I couldn't imagine that one. Holy,
dude, the furthest I had been was like, Columbus.
Yeah.
I was like, I went to Florida maybe
Once.
once, and that was. I hate Florida.
Yeah.
I hate Florida.
The armpit of America.
He's a loser.
I'm
It's
just
just,
kidding. I'm
dude,
just
Buckwheat loves Florida. Me, I hate Florida. I'll let Buckwheat tell you about his love for Florida anyway. But
kidding.
I went to Rome, hop off the plane, and I'm like, oh, dude, this is nowhere like home. I had my Dorothy moment. I was like,
Oh yeah.
and you get into a car with a guy that's driving. There's no real lanes. They all just kind of like merge together. Like, even if they hit each other, they just keep going. Like, they don't really value cars like that.
Bro,
It's just
Roman roads.
Yes, dude.
I'll have
Yeah.
Feely tell you about me in the car.
I
Not good
need
for the
that.
podcast.
But we got there, and just like the modern amenities that we have in America that we take for granted and stuff like that. So I slowly felt like, man, I'm so passionate about seeing how other people live. Obviously the history and stuff, like, we're always geeking out about that together. And it's just like, wow, dude, the world's so large, and it just makes you feel so small here.
Yeah.
And your big ideas and things like that, like, they go so far, but it doesn't matter in the world. So it's like, what kind of impact you're leaving and stuff like that. But traveling for me is something that I just got addicted to. So once I got back from Rome, COVID happened, and a lot of people are gonna be mad about this, but the entire time in COVID, you're supposed to be locked down. I was doing a road trip across the United States, and dude, that was just like, wow, you can just get in a car and just go. And to see the whole world like that, at this point, I've been to Iceland, I've been to Alaska. I flew to Alaska, drove to Montana through Canada. I've been to Japan.
Those Japan photos were sick.
Dude. And everywhere, every time, just the same thing you're saying. I never lose that sense of like, wow,
Yeah.
this is something that, and I just always wish I could bring people with me. And that's why I think that photos are so important, because I'm like, I can give them the feeling that I'm feeling through this photo.
Yeah. And I think that's like the end goal of what you're trying to convey I mean, without being as cliche as possible.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
like, it is like a little memento. That's what a photo is.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's a little memory. But I mean, you do realize how big the world is, but also at the same time, you realize how small it is by the people.
Yeah.
So like, you start bullshitting. Out in Rome, whenever me and Feely were in Rome, we did a little grand tour through Italy. We went from Venice, Florence to Rome,
Yeah.
and an amazing trip. But you can just, whether it's bullshitting with the waiter at a Roman restaurant and figuring out like, yo, they got some stuff on the menu that they don't give to most people.
Yeah.
Like, okay, give me that.
Yeah, okay.
Like, finding just like a little hole in the wall, like restaurant. Like,
Those are usually the best ones.
yeah, they are the best ones, but you get to really feel the culture, and then you get to really see that people are deep down, they all want the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I
That's-
feel like there's a common language of like being kind and being caring and comedy and things like that. Like people all kind of like the same things. Like we have different ways of expressing ourselves in different languages, but like our commonality, and you learn that as a whole is, you know, those core factors or core things that everyone
Yeah.
cares about and
Yeah.
wants. And
Which I mean, I haven't been to Japan or anywhere like that. I've been to
Yeah.
mostly Western countries, which I would say. I mean, I want to go to like Asia, Africa, all those places, but
Yeah.
I'd say
That would be
the
pretty cool.
vast majority of my focus is on like Western society. Like,
Yeah.
well, interest, I would say. So like Rome was mind-boggling to me. Once
Yeah.
I could, like I said, I couldn't imagine that being the first time I was out of the
Yeah.
country, because like once you go to Rome and you go to like other cities, in other cities you're like, oh, a king lived here, and yeah, like opulent,
Yeah.
like a European king, like they put gold on fucking everything.
Yeah.
But you go to Rome and you're
Yeah.
like, there wasn't a king that lived here. It was a fucking emperor.
Yeah,
Like
it's
a
an
king
emperor.
of kings.
Yeah.
Like, and it's 2,000 years old. Like,
yeah. And that's why. So Rome is called the lasagna city. So it's basically like, the ground would raise and they would just keep building on top of the buildings there. They didn't tear anything down. So then they were able, it eroded away. And now you'll see like a building and it'll be like, well, this was built in the 2nd century. And then they built on top of it in the 10th. And then they built again in like the 18th. So it's like, you can see, and it goes all the way down to like cobblestone roads that Julius Caesar was riding through. And I'm
Yeah.
like, dude,
it was funny as hell whenever we were there. There was construction, and it sucked as a photographer because, like, on that long road
Yeah.
there, like to the Coliseum,
Yeah.
all the statues flanking,
Yeah.
it was like the Forum there on
Yeah.
the side. They had a bunch of construction there by the Coliseum, like
Oh.
tanks and like fencing and all that
they
stuff.
had
I'm
the
like,
same thing.
fuck,
And,
come on.
Yeah.
They also, dude, it's so like tourism ruins places. It's so crazy
Oh, yeah.
how like many people are just in the middle of the road standing around. I'm like, dude, can you guys
move.
Oh, yeah.
do you guys not have jobs?
Well, it's also Italy,
Yeah.
man. Like,
Yeah, it's
if you
there's-
catch them at the right hour, lunch hour, you can't shop for shit, and everybody's eating.
I don't know what the like the size wise, but I know that like Italy's population goes from like, I don't know, like 1 million to 5 million in like no time, where people just travel into the city.
Oh yeah,
It-
I'm sure.
And it's not very large.
But no, the right there by the Coliseum, it was really funny. It started just bullshitting with the guy there, and just I don't even know why, but the guy was like, I was like, what are you guys working on? And they're like, they're doing a subway system,
Mm-hmm.
and I like left, didn't think about it, but I was like, who's the genius that decided to build an underground subway system in a city that is literally full of artifacts and
Yeah.
archaeology? You're gonna constantly run into things where some like archaeologist is gonna be like, well, we're taking this dig site over. Like, you found a statue, it's ours. You gotta reroute the subway.
Yeah.
Dude, every subway you're just gonna be riding like, because you're having to go around shit. Like, yeah, permits there, or getting getting permits from inspectors. Who would want that job?
Oh, dude, it's hard enough in Covington. Like, I don't even know.
Dude, I know they're like, Covington's so historic. I'm like, it's Covington.
Covington.
Yeah, it's
um,
Covington.
So, what's your favorite place to travel to, Buckwheat?
Walmart and Dry Ridge. I don't really go many places.
no, I will say this though. Like,
I'm
with
more-
that being said, I will say that Kentucky is still like
Oh,
a
yeah.
very like it is still my home. It will always be my home.
Any
I've realized that like it is very hard to find a prettier piece of earth than Kentucky. Like I
That's
so
love
true.
Kentucky.
Dude, so many people too that I talk to about traveling and stuff like that, and they're like, but I wouldn't live anywhere else because like Kentucky is like a place that you can easily be in the city, you can easily be in a rural area, and it's like everyone here. Like when people from other places and I tell them like Kentucky, they're like, oh man, you're a cousin kisser or something like that. It's like they automatically have a stigma about it. But yeah, Kentucky's a peaceful place that could never be replicated in my mind.
No, and it's probably some bias there with it, but it just seems like the grass, as cliche as it is the grass is greener and the tea is sweeter, and you know.
And I think that so what we were talking about earlier, where you were saying people from, and I'm sure this is across like all small towns, and this is, you know, everyone has these type of things, but you know, we come from mostly a farm, small town feel where, but I think that we have so many creative and accomplished people from where we're from, and I feel like those people need to be like, you know, more on the forefront, and we need to be able to show like, dude, Grant County, Kentucky, like has a lot of inspiring people, and I find a lot of value in being from there.
Yeah, I think it's a very special place, and I think that I think it does definitely have a lot to offer, but I think specifically in terms of growing up there, it's the perfect place to grow up.
Yeah.
Like because at least the time that we grew up,
Yeah.
if we wanted to get like a taste of the South, we could drive 40 minutes to Lexington.
Yep.
And it's culturally the South.
Yeah.
You know,
it
you
is.
got horse racing, you got the beautiful farms, you got food with real sugar, real butter.
Yeah.
Like they don't take any of that out. But then you drive up to Cincinnati, just 30 minutes north.
Yeah.
And it's a steel city. It is like Pittsburgh. It is like
right on the
Chicago.
river.
It's right on the river. It looks like a northern city.
Yeah.
And you could just get two different ways of life. And you're not going to find two cities in at least the United States, more different.
I wouldn't think so. And I never really thought of that, but that is so accurate. Like you go down and it's like Southern Belle. It's a huge, like when we went to University of Kentucky, I was like, dude, this is not like where I'm from, and I'm 40 minutes up the road.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to join a frat to know people.
Yeah, dude. I was so bummed. I was like, dude, I'm gonna have to join a frat to do anything.
I know.
It was like 90% of the population. I was like, where's the weird people? And then I would like go visit our friends in Cincinnati, and I was like, it's all weird people. This is sick, bro. Like I need to go back.
That's why I ended up.
But
UC. Go Bearcats, baby.
Dude, Ben always has the perfect way of describing where Dry Ridge is, and he would always say it's the forgotten place in between Cincinnati and Lexington on the map, dead center on 75.
Yeah, basically.
So I was like, people are always, well, you know, what is it like? I'm like, it depends on what your family, like where your influence came from, because it could have been very southern or very northern very easily, because we're so close to both and have influence on, like each one of has strong influence one way or the other.
And when I say it's forgotten, or civilization is forgotten in between the two cities, it's kind of like a good thing. It's like I don't know if you guys know, you guys watched Andy Griffith's show, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like fucking Mayberry.
It is like Mayberry,
it was like a little pocket of this small community. And if you go off of if you go to Owen County or Gallatin, and those are the same places, but this was right on the interstate.
Yeah.
And everything was just right up the road. Things have changed a little bit in my mind. Yeah. But as things do, I don't want to turn into.
No, I do like the fact that, you know, Dry Ridge is, obviously you're saying it's right on the interstate, but it hasn't, I mean, it's growing now. Back then it wasn't, obviously, you know what I mean? It wasn't as big.
Yeah.
But now it's getting bigger. I mean, I hope it doesn't get that big. I hope it doesn't get as big as like Ridgewood.
I think that I hope that money keeps on coming in, and I just
hope
that people support the people that are willing to take the risk to
make money there,
make money in that community.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because I think the biggest thing that we've seen there is that through our whole time growing up, Main Street Dry Ridge was like a almost borderline ghost town. You had the doctor's office.
Yep.
You had the pharmacy, pawn shop,
the park, and that's it.
That's about it. But it's
Yeah.
a cute little town.
Yeah, it is.
It's a cute little town. There's something there, and Williamstown looks beautiful now.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
I think that so people are very divided on how they feel about the ARC coming to Grant County, and what the ARC did do was bring money, bring people, bring an economic boost because you're bringing 5,000 people a day through our county,
Yeah.
and things like that. But other people are going to be like, well, there's 90 Airbnbs in the city of Williamstown, which is like very small, and we're ruining the nostalgic feel in the old Williamstown.
Yeah.
So I think that
And it does kind of make it harder for these kids that are graduating and getting older and trying to get their first house, and they
Exactly,
can't
yeah.
because
yeah,
somebody's got 7 Airbnbs. But I get it.
yeah.
I mean, I get it.
I get it from a business perspective.
oh,
but
yeah,
as
I
like
get it.
a homegrown kid, you're divided on a lot of that stuff, because if I could buy 7 Airbnbs and
I'm buying
make
it.
bread on them,
I'm buying
probably
it.
do it.
yeah, I probably would.
Yeah.
But
It's easy
Sorry.
to say whenever it's like whenever we're looking from the
Yeah.
outside in,
Yeah.
but if we're looking at like, yo, we
it's
can make
easy
this
to
much
say
money a month.
when you're needing that house.
Yeah.
But when you have it, you're like, sorry. You know what I'm saying?
And, like, I think back in the day, I would have been like, well, somebody needs to step in and stop that.
Yeah.
But I think that's just part of growth, that you just got to let people have room to make money. But also, if things do get out of control,
yeah, there
that's
does
not
need to
up-
be
that's
a
not up to any of us to
Yeah.
assess.
yeah.
But if it does get to that point, and whoever does assess that, if they deem that something needs to be done, something should be done.
Yeah.
Because that, in a community that's so small,
yeah,
one bad thing can have a lot of impact.
yeah,
I'm actually going to bring something up with Williamstown and Grant County that I hear two different sides from tons of people. I feel like I know quite a bit of people in Grant County, so
You're
know,
famous. We get it.
stop.
Bro's
You know,
famous.
bro,
He's
no,
on a
it's not.
podcast, bro. He's famous. He can't go out. His family.
Can't even eat breakfast, bro.
Dude.
Listen, no. You got the Filippos.
Oh, yeah,
Hans.
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 Yeah.
Hans, really good dude.
Yeah.
Johnny's really good
They make
dude,
hella
which is his
burgers
son.
up there too. Those things.
Oh,
are
dude,
awesome.
yeah. Some people, feel a certain way because he buys all this real estate and has all, he's taken over Williamstown, which is I agree with it because he's bringing in, the place that the kids can play at. He's making new restaurants.
Yeah.
He's the hotel that was in the middle, like the main street of Williamstown. He's redoing that whole hotel. It's going to look sick.
I haven't been down there in a while. Is it going to be like a Hotel Covington sort of?
Dude,
deal?
he's putting a brand
don't
new.
know.
There's gonna
Okay.
be like a brand new elevator in it, bro. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
I think that he's a person with resources that is going to do good things for our
He's
community.
able to make Williamstown.
But there's inevitably going to be people from there that are just so stuck in their
They
ways,
don't want change.
and that's just
I mean,
that's
the
going to be
The
anywhere.
same way that I was just talking about, like, things have changed about the community. There's going to be people that are going to say that about him. I mean, but the market's set.
Yeah.
And the market sets a price, and if no one can meet that bid, that's the name of the game in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
If you can't get it, you can't.
yeah. I mean,
There's no reason to.
It ain't my fault you're broke.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
It ain't
And
my
I-
fault you're
as
broke.
It
long-
sucks, but
from everything that I've seen, I think that Williamstown looks like it's a beautiful little town.
yeah.
again.
And the thing is, if say you don't buy those things, no one else is gonna do anything with it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I'm not.
I'm not. I'm not buying out whole
I
hotel.
mean, if
to-
someone wants to give me a cheap studio space on Main Street, that would be cool.
that would be
For a
sick,
cheap
wouldn't it?
rate.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Yeah. I'm not.
I'm not. Yeah, I get.
The thing that I would love to see across Grant County a lot more is sidewalks.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
sidewalks.
Yeah.
Like that's
It's so simple.
That's
It's
so,
so
well,
crazy.
It sounds simple, but you got to talk about land. You got to go get people's land, and how are you going to get that land? Are you going to buy it, or are you going to basically
Take
say
it.
eminent domain? And this is for. I think that's the right term. Or
Yeah.
you just basically take it,
Yeah.
and they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But
When I moved up here, so I live like closer to Covington where you live, and it was so shocking to me to see how many people walk.
oh, dude,
Because
yeah.
where we're from, you're not walking anywhere. If you're
Yeah.
walking, you're on drugs and you need to be picked up. Like, are you good?
That is so true, dude. That is so.
the neighborhood aspect here is so much stronger, and the community aspect to me is it feels a lot more like my neighborhood. I know like everyone on this road, and growing up, like I had like a subdivision, but if you lived like where Buckwheat lives, there's no way to walk to like Brentwood because there's no sidewalks.
Swear, yeah, you're walking on the road, and if you ever, and that's so true that, not me, but normal people see people walking, you're like, that motherfucker ain't got no car. That dude's up to no good, probably. Which, and which it could be just because this guy wants to take a damn walk. You know what I'm saying?
Like that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes I just want to go for a damn walk.
So, I told my wife that you were going to be on today because she was just like, what was for the podcast today, and she knew her friends Kayla Cummins.
Okay, yeah.
And she knew that you worked at Disney.
Shout out Kayla.
Shout out Kayla. Right, shout out Kayla. So, and I would think that everybody would find it interesting that you worked at Disney. So I want to know, and I'm sure some other people want to know, what was like a daily routine when you go into work at Disney?
So I did the college program, and I fed over into the professional internship there. Mm-hmm. And it was definitely, you're working for a Fortune 500 company. I lived in a Disney apartment. I lived on Disney property. And you work 6 days a week, 12-hour days in Florida sun. And
yeah, that's tough.
I love the
Florida sun. I was there at an amazing time. I was only there for 3 months, and it's a rather peculiar situation. Mm-hmm. People are like, well, he's only there for 3 months. I got there in January of 2020.
Yep.
And COVID hit.
Yeah.
And I was still getting updates about my standing with the other internships and whatnot, and they ended up sending us all home. So it kind of didn't come to fruition like I fully wanted to.
Yeah.
But in terms of like working for Disney, it was an absolute blast, man. I mean, like they call it the most magical place on earth, and they mean it.
Really?
Yeah, it's work, but it's not work. Whenever you go to Disney World, they bombard all 5 of your senses. Like your sight is obvious. You see all the Disney things. They're pumping like smell, like air pressures, like out there. The sound. You can go up and touch things. And like whenever you're working there, you can see like little kids. They're fine, like they're in that place. They're in their imagination land.
Yeah. So for everybody that worked at Disney, which I know, obviously you said you're only there through 3 months. I'm sure you made some friends. Everybody working in, do they all stay in like a Disney apartment? Do they all live on Disney's land?
It depends. So some of the, all the college programmers do. A lot of most of the internships do.
Okay.
And a lot of the part-time employees can opt into, or seasonal employees can opt
Did you get good incentives? Obviously, having an own apartment was a pretty cool incentive.
No, actually, it wasn't. That's part of the reason why Disney does the college program, is that it's cheap labor for them. But it's also an incentive for you to do the program because you get to put
that on your portfolio or whatever.
Put that on your resume and everything. Yeah. And if you go down there with the right intentions, you can really
succeed,
take the next step. You can use that to go to another company. And I know plenty of people that are still down there.
So what you're saying is you can get us in there pretty cheap if we ever want to go.
Dude, I don't know about that. That's just like gold.
Yeah, his pool is very small. Yeah. He was there 3 months.
The cool thing about Disney is that it really just shows you the ropes. And I know I was only there for like a short period of time, but it really set me on this path that like you set a standard for yourself and the brand. Not just the brand, because I hate the word brand. I hate how everybody's trying to build brands now.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to do something good and be proud of it.
For sure.
Whether that's some trademark or me.
Yeah.
And some people is going to think, you saying 3 months ain't very long. Dude, that's at least 90 days straight going there every day and doing the same thing or whatever the hell you were doing. You know what I mean?
I mean,
that's a lot of time.
After COVID, I was going to go back.
Yeah.
I was offered a job.
Yeah.
And I met my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And
life just changed.
Yeah.
And I found something else that I wanted to do. But Disney is a well-oiled machine, and you are reminded of it every time you are there. Yeah. Safety is number one, of course, but the second thing is no one is an employee there. everyone is a cast member. You are part of the show.
Yeah.
So
And another question is, you think you see people like you see the commercials and stuff on Disney and whatever. Is everybody really that happy there? Like everybody just faking it, or is everybody that happy there? I just want to know, bro.
no, definitely not.
Okay. All right, we'll get off the Disney topic for you. I don't want to put you in something.
If you
but
were to see, you can see people's greatest day of their life. You can see the worst fucking day of their life
I
at
get it,
Disney
dude.
World,
Yeah.
dude. Because you gotta think, people they've spent so much fucking money on
Dude,
this. They have
yeah.
certain
It's
expectations.
a true investment to
For
go
sure.
to Disney.
for sure.
Dude, we went this
You
last
have to
fall.
like strategically place like when you're gonna try to take your kids there because you want them to remember it. You don't want them to be miserable, and it's like this would be such a waste. It's like that could be. I don't.
I like how you
think
put
that,
it
but-
because we actually know a guy that took his whole family there, and then the kids liked Disney World, but they liked the hotel they were in better.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
well,
for
So they were
sure.
like, we just want to stay at the
a
hotel.
lot of parents get
And then-
pissed off about that.
Yeah, and you're like, bro, I have spent all this money to take you to Disney World or Disneyland, wherever you're going, and you want to stay at the hotel? Yeah, this be the last damn time I do this. Somewhere, you know what I'm saying?
Gonna
but yeah, you-
spontaneously combust into a chlorine block.
Somewhere, you're like-
Yeah.
But we'll get off the Disney topic. So now that you're about to move to Germany, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
You've already had your time here. What's your next step? What's next for you?
I'm kind of going in with a clear mind, open mind, mindset. With moving there, and I'm giving up my clients here, like all of my clients. I mean, there is some like graphic design work that I do. That
Did you
I'll
say you're
still be
giving
able
it
to
giving
do.
it up?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be an ocean away, so
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure.
I can't really do that. So I'm gonna have to rebuild some of my clientele over there.
Yeah.
And I think once I get over there, I think the big thing for me is to find topics where I can make something long format that, like I was talking about a documentary earlier. I'd like to make some kind of documentary or some kind of like short YouTube series on
Yeah.
something, whether it's like architecture, like some cool building, some
Yeah.
battlefield, whether it's Normandy or like, I don't know.
No, what's your girlfriend gonna do over there? She gonna do the
She's
same
still gonna
thing?
be, YouTube and running the channel.
Okay.
And,
And she does that full
we-
time?
Yeah, we actually organize trips too. If anybody ever wants to go to Europe with us,
That'd be
cool.
sick.
come on.
That's
Actually,
sick.
that might be me. I might
Yeah.
be that guy that
I-
just like
I-
pops up like, hey, let's go.
I ain't never been out of the country, so I might be on
Dude, it
too.
would be a perfect chance for you, like, because you go with like a group of people, and
Mhm.
it's usually people that have never been out of the country.
Yeah.
And they're all pretty like-minded. They're open to it and everything. But we just launched one yesterday, and it will be starting in Berlin, going to Dresden, Karlovy. It's some weird Czech town. It's Karlovy something, and then we'll end in Prague, and all of those spots will be going to the Christmas markets,
Oh,
which
nice.
are really, really cool.
Cool. What's something like that? I mean, obviously, is that like you're guiding it? I guess.
Yeah,
You're the guy.
We're hosting it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what's that run
It's
for people to and
It's a few $1,000s.
Yeah.
and then
a person?
a person,
I would assume, yeah.
a person, but that takes care of all your travel fare once you're there. It doesn't
Mhm.
take care of the airplane,
'Kay.
like the trip there.
Got you.
But it takes care of all your admissions while you're there, multiple meals,
Cool.
train, all that stuff.
All that good stuff. That's sick, dude.
So
Yeah, that sounds exciting. So, if you want to keep up with Ben's journey, if he does make a short YouTube or documentary series, then we'll keep up with you and we'll
sure.
post that. And I think that's a good place to end. Just kind of what's next for you. And I think we touched on a lot of good topics. Being from the same place and kind of having the same passions and similar jobs.
It's just-
you know.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that we brought you on here, and there's actually there's like a whole 3 different people here, like, but we're all from the same
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's
Yeah,
so
that
cool.
is cool.
It
Yeah.
is cool. Like, you got a guy that I'm never gonna come out of Grant County. I just love it. My wife's a small town woman. I'm just gonna stay there. I like to travel too.
yeah,
Logan, he's out, but he's still in Kentucky, but he still travels a lot. And then
Yeah.
you're gone. You're
Yeah.
leaving. That's
Yeah.
cool, man. It's awesome.
I'll be back.
I hope you come back.
Don't worry.
But
I'll
still,
be
I mean,
back.
you're going to plant roots somewhere else, and that's just cool.
yeah. Well,
Hell yeah. Good luck.
all right,
Yes.
guys. See
Don't
y'all.
suck.